Excellent. Jai Jagannath. Here we are, chapter 13, verse 20. Anytime, please interrupt me. Okay. By rising beyond these three gunas, the embodied soul becomes completely free from the effects of the body, birth, death, old age, and all their sufferings, and enjoys immortality. Okay, the key word is atitya and vimukta. Amritam asnute, vimuktam. Of course, as long as we have a body, we have the body will have its effects. But if we go beyond the three gunas, we don't identify with the body anymore. Arjuna said, "O Lord, what are the symptoms manifested by one who has transcended the three gunas? How such a person behaves, and how has he overcome the three gunas?" This is a very interesting question. The wonderful Lord said, "O son of Pandu, such a person does not hate enlightenment, engagement in activities, or illusion, and neither becomes totally immersed in them, and does not abstain from work." This is very interesting. Is that clear?
No. Hate
I
enlightenment as in,
suspected
like, who will hate
that.
him?
Yeah, because it's what? Does not hate enlightenment. What does that mean? Why should he hate enlightenment? You know. Well, enlightenment is sattva, engagement in activity is rajas, and illusion is tamas. So we are not required to hate the gunas because we should not repress the gunas. Whatever we repress will become stronger. So we just have to detach ourselves. We have to use the gunas, to engage the gunas. Guna guneshu vartante. We need to engage the gunas in the gunas. Means we need to engage our body and mind that are made of gunas into the appropriate gunas for each particular moment. So we remain always situated in sattva, like Krishna said, nitya sattva sto. Always solidly situated in sattva in the sense of enlightenment. We know what's happening. But we don't hate the engagement in activities. Means it's not that we say, oh, we are on sattva, we don't need to work. We are just going to sit on the bank of the Radha Kunda and just chant, because as long as you have a body, you need to maintain it. So, if nobody comes to give you food, what are you going to do? You're going to do something. You're going to have to get up and go around, and do something. Now, whatever you do, you offer to Krishna. Yad karoshi adashnasi yad juhosi dadasi yad. Right? Madarpanam. Kurusvat madarpanam. Do it for me, for the higher purpose, for the service of God. So, engagement in activities and engaging in work does not mean that you are immersed in the gunas. Does not mean that you are controlled with the gunas. Does not mean that you are a materialistic person. We need to believe. I'm in a meeting. So, does not mean that we are not going to work. We work, of course we work. Everybody works. Everybody has to work. Like Krishna said in chapter 3, nobody can abstain from working, because without working you cannot even maintain your body. Action is always required. Engagement in activities is always required. Krishna recommends engaging in activities for the benefit of all beings, right? So we are not engaging in activities for our own selfish benefit. We are performing our duties. We work in sattva, we work in rajas, we work in tamas for the benefit of all. How we are not, we don't hate illusion. Because illusion can also be used properly. Like, for example, our body needs to go to sleep. Okay? Sometimes we sleep more, sometimes we sleep less, depending on what the body requires, what the body and mind require. So sleep is definitely illusion. Dreams are mostly illusion, but we don't hate them, because they can be used properly. So rajas is also a kind of illusion, because we are not the doers. Only the body and the mind are engaged in activities. But the body and the mind are engaged in activities, must be engaged in activities. It's not that because we go up in the Himalayas, we shut ourselves up in a cave, in a guha, and then it means that we are people, we have transcended the three gunas. No. Someone who has really transcended the three gunas does not identify with them, but keeps working with them, because as long as we have a body and a mind, we have to manage them. Is this clearer?
Yes.
Any other question on this particular subject? Because this is important, very important. People
Mm.
are often superficial. So they judge, they evaluate things from a superficial level. So they don't really understand, how things work. So any other observation, comment?
Clear from your explanation.
Okay, let's read the commentary. The first verb holding the sentence is nadvesti. Nadvesti means does not hate. Directly connected to the opposite nakanshati, does not desire. Indicating that a person who has transcended all the three gunas is not particularly repulsed or attracted by sattva, rajas, or even tamas. It is not that a transcendental person loves sattva and hates tamas. Attraction and repulsion, raga and dvesha, love and hatred, are two forms of the same principle of attachment, manifested in the positive or in the negative. Even hatred and spite can bind us to a dangerous object of the senses, or to a bad relationship, so that the real solution is to remain neutral and detached. What is resisted persists because we are investing energy into it. We can verify the simple truth with the famous exercise: do not think about the pink elephant. The more you strive, the more real the pink elephant image gets. The mind, and especially the subconscious mind, works with symbols and ideas, not with grammar. So by projecting an image, we reinforce it, even if our intention is to remove it. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. A less innocent exercise, the foolish effort made some ignorant celibate monks to become detached from their sexual lust by investing spite and hatred into the image of women, for example. As long as they keep thinking and speaking of women, albeit in a negative way, their attachment and lust will never drop off. The only solution is not to think of women as objects of enjoyment, not with attraction and not with repulsion. The real brahmacharya consists in thinking about the Atman, that is the same whether it drives a body or another. The same concept of neutrality from both positive and negative attachment is presented in many other verses. Nabindhanati nadveshti ragadvesha myuktaistu ragadvesha myavasito tayor navasamagachet yo nadveshi dvesti na kankshati lo ichadvesa samuttanad vannamohena name dvesho sila priya yo na hishati na dvesti na sochati na kankshati raga dveshata tyaktva raga dvesho na sochati na kankshati, and so on, so many times. Okay. This verse describes the three wrong approaches. One, hating. Two, aspiring to become attached. And three, desiring to neglect. The first approach is rejection or repulsion, as in active opposition. The second approach is active attachment, and the third approach is a rejection through negative desire or passive abstention from all actions. Let's make an example directly connected to the context of Bhagavad Gita. Engagement in the battle against aggressors. Arjuna should not hate to fight in the battle to defend the Prajas. He should engage willingly for the sake of duty, even if the action is painful. Also, Arjuna should not engage in the battle out of selfish considerations and attachment to fighting per se. Sampravrittani. Finally, Arjuna should not abstain, nivrittani, from his dutiful action out of lack of personal interest. Is that clear?
Yes.
So we have these three wrong approaches. Okay. The word sampravrittani means fully engaged, manifest as experiences or objects, and is a reinforced form of pravritti, engagement, indicating that the activity is considered as the focus of action in themselves. At the end of the verse, we find the negative of privative form, nivrittani, referring to the actions of abstinence or nivritti. Abstention from action is also a choice, and will bring consequences. Good if the action from which we abstain was bad, and bad if the action from which we abstain was good. In general, however, abstention as a systematic habit in life can increase the influence of tamas, while engagement in action with attachment and opposition to action is attachment, will increase the influence of rajas. The only way to increase sattva is to engage in action for the sake of duty, as we will see in the last chapter. Okay, prakasha, pravritti, and moha. Okay, are expressions of sattva guna tamas. The prakriti, okay. The real problem is not experiences these states, but remaining attached to them, because inertia will inevitably attract the influence of tamas, and our perception will become clouded. Okay, this is clearer now.
Yes.
Okay, good. Any comment? No, not particular.
No. Clear now.
Okay, so we continue with the next verse, verse 23. One who remains sitting in a neutral position in respect of the gunas is never shaken, and following this policy regularly, he remains firmly established and is not overwhelmed. Okay. 24. The wise is firmly established in Suddha Sattva and equally tolerates his own joys and sorrows. She sees with equal consideration a lump of clay, a stone, and a piece of gold, and gives the same value to pleasant and unpleasant things, remaining sober and balanced in front of insult as well as glorification directed to him. This is also not easy to understand. So, we are firmly, as we said before, established in Sattva. Where is it? Firmly established. Okay. And equally is equal towards joys and sorrows. Because they come and go. They come and go. So, what is happening? We just observe the various situations not as ontological objects, but as functional objects. So, why? Because a lump of clay can be more useful than a piece of gold. A stone can be more useful than a piece of gold. And a piece of gold can be more useful than a lump of clay or a stone. It depends on how you use them. You understand? So, there is no absolute value in any object. The value is relative, because this world is relative. The material world, the body, the mind, the material objects, the elements are not absolute. They're relative. Now they are there, tomorrow they will not be there. We can use something now, or the same thing, we will not be able to use it in the future. Like you have a lot of gold, or a credit card with a full bank balance, but you are stranded in the desert. What are you going to do with it? Nothing. It's better to have a bottle of water than a big bag of gold. So it depends on what is actually useful to your work in any particular time. Okay. Gives the same value to pleasant and unpleasant things. It doesn't mean that we have to go and look for unpleasant things. It just means that we need to be sober in our understanding of things and in performing our duty, in our work. While we perform our duty, while we do our work, we will inevitably face pleasant and unpleasant situations. The pleasant situations can give us, good energy to continue our work. Unpleasant situations will just okay, they will take some energy out of us, but we can use them because every problem can be an opportunity. Is this clear?
Yes.
Good. And the same is about insult and glorification. Insult and glorification will come because we cannot be 100% popular. There will be people who hate us even if we have no problem with them. There will be people who, want to destroy us because we simply exist. And they cannot tolerate that we exist and we do our duty. This is exactly the story of the Pandavas. The Pandavas asked, told Duryodhana, we just want 5 villages. What Duryodhana told them? I will not give you the land to plant a needle. So why Duryodhana was hating them so much? Simply because they existed. And that will happen also to us. especially if we work for Dharma, and if we are, very truthful, very direct, and very serious about our work, we'll get a lot of insult, a lot of enemies trying to destroy us. They will, insult can come in many ways, way of slander, a way of direct attack, there, so many ways. But that's the nature of this world. There will be, bad people. We cannot just avoid the existence of bad people. We'll find them. Even if we are not going to look for them, they will come for us. The famous saying, don't get into trouble. Well, trouble, kind of, finds me wherever I go. So, because from the highest planet to the lowest planet, Abrahma Bruna Loka, this world is temporary and full of miseries. Dukhalayam Masaswatam. From wherever we go, there will be problems, there will be enemies, there will be people who try to create problems to us, and there will be, temporary situations, like we get something and then we lose it. It's normal. So we should just relax about that. Look at the devas, what the devas are doing, what is their fault? They're keeping they're maintaining the universe. They're taking care of everyone. They're, making the universe function properly. So what do the asuras want from them? Why do the asuras always go to war against the devas? Not because the devas offended them or, threatened their existence, simply because they want to take away power and control from the devas. They want to stop the devas from doing their service to God. That can also happen to us very easily. And the more we become visible, the more we become successful in our duty, the more enemies we get. So, we have to be tolerant in the sense that we can fight back. Of course we can fight back. The devas are not just sitting, and waiting for the asuras to kill them. No, they fight back. But, things will happen. Jaya Jayo. Whether we have victory or defeat, we are, we are not identified or attached. We just do our duty out of a sense of service to the universe, service to the Supreme. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions about this verse? Nope.
No. Clear.
Okay, and clear. Loud and clear. So, that's how you see that someone is beyond the gunas. 25. A person who remains equally disposed in being honored and being neglected, and is equally disposed towards the categories of friends and enemies, who has completely renounced the idea of pursuing egotistic material enterprises, is said to be beyond the gunas. So anyone who thinks, that you are the enemy and they want to, destroy you just because you exist, they're not exactly beyond the gunas. So they cannot really speak about the spiritual life because they're totally controlled by rajas and tamas. They're not beyond the guna. They're not even in sattva guna. So first we need to situate ourselves in sattva, and of course sattva binds us to happiness. So when we are neglected, when we are attacked by enemies, we're insulted, when we are put in difficulties, of course, it's not, doesn't give us joy. It's not that equally disposed means, doesn't mean that you have to be happy when you are insulted. Equally disposed, you say, okay, yeah, well, people think what people will think. We are not responsible for what people think. We are not responsible for how, what people understand or think or do. We are only responsible for what we understand, think, or do. The other people will do whatever they want. We cannot change that. We can just draw the line, and defend ourselves, and especially defend our service. Defend our duty. That's what Arjuna has to do. Why Arjuna is encouraged to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra? Because Krishna is encouraging him to fight to defend his duty, not to defend his material position, his interest, his benefit, his honor or whatever. He's just telling Arjuna he has to fight because that is his duty. He has to fight to protect Dharma, to protect the Prajas. So Duryodhana is supporting adharma, is creating suffering for the Prajas. He is not a good ruler. And Duryodhana has challenged the Pandavas to battle. So what should Arjuna do? In the beginning of Gita, Arjuna was seriously thinking about, just giving up and going to the Himalayas. He doesn't care. But Krishna is saying, you have to fight back to protect the Prajas, not to be a super warrior or to gain money or to gain the kingdom or to get glory or whatever. It's just your duty. You have to protect the kingdom, and the kingdom is in serious danger. You understand?
Yes.
So, in the beginning, Krishna is telling Arjuna that, stepping back from his duty is not going to give him good fame, akirtim. Okay, it's going to put a stain on his good name. But not because Arjuna is attached to honors, but because his good name is necessary to do his duty as a kshatriya. Because if Arjuna remains known as a good warrior, a brave and valiant warrior, then his job, his duty, his religious duty, his swadharma as a kshatriya will work properly. If people are laughing because Arjuna ran from the battlefield, how is he going to do his duty as a kshatriya? Everyone will be laughing at him. How can he protect the Prajas? You understand? So we have to see everything as instruments in our service to the universal community, to all the beings. And this means doing our duty. Now, in the further chapters, Krishna will explain what are the duties of different people according to their specific guna and karma. Guna karma svabhavajam, which are the what we know as the varna ashrama dharma, especially the varna dharma. The problem is today the varna dharma is gone to pot because of birth prejudice, because of politics, because of ignorance, because of corruption, So it's difficult to find real brahmanas, real kshatriyas, real vaishyas, and even to find real shudras is difficult, because to be a real good shudra you need to be honest. You need to respect the principles of satya and dayam and socham. Some cleanliness you need to have, some compassion you need to have, some truthfulness, honesty you need to have. Mostly people today are not even qualified as shudras. So of course it's difficult, and we have to adjust to the particular situation we are in. But still, at least as far as we are concerned, we should stand on the side of Dharma. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, good. So honor, not for oneself. Okay. 26. One who truly serves me in Bhakti Yoga without deviation develops desires on the Brahman level, transcending all these gunas. So, you can see someone is a devotee when they don't have this dualistic mentality of friend and enemy, this party politics, this greed for gain or loss, this greed for honors, and profit, fame, adoration, these type of things that are exactly the opposite of what a person that, with the behavior and the mentality of someone who has overcome the three gunas. Okay, let's see. 27. This is very interesting, and it's the best verse to quote to the real impersonalists. Verse 27. I am the foundation of the Brahman, the immortal, unfailing, imperishable, eternal Brahman. That is the ultimate dharma and happiness, the one reality. Brahmanohi pratishtaham. Here Krishna is speaking about the Brahman as a product of the Param Brahman, the source of the Brahman, Bhagavan, Paramatma, Brahman. So Bhagavan is the original Brahman. The real impersonal is not Adi Shankar. Adi Shankar never said that Narayana is material. Adi Shankar never said that Krishna is a product of Brahman. Never. Some of his so-called followers have done that. Some of his so-called followers have, come to the stupid conclusion that Krishna is a material manifestation, because it seems to be subject to time, like in appearance and disappearance. But that is not limited to the appearance, the period of manifestation. Actually, the appearance of the avatar is simply the fact that we can see the avatar. And the disappearance is simply the fact that we cannot see the avatar anymore. But that doesn't mean that the avatar had a beginning and will have an end. That's why we speak of Avirbhav and Tirobhav. Bhava meaning manifestation. The manifestation becoming accepted, becoming visible, and the manifestation becoming invisible. It's like the sun. The sun is always there, even in the night. The difference is that we cannot see the sun in the night because it's on the other side of the planet. Is that clear?
Yes, this is clear, but we often say that, like, Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagwan are same only. It's
Yes.
just the way of looking. So if they
Yes.
are same, then how come foundation, one is the foundation of other?
Yeah, the foundation means they're the same in the sense, like that famous verse of Bhagavad Purana, Vadanti tat tattvavidas yad jnanam tat advayam. It's a knowledge that is not dualistic. Brahmati, Paramatmati, Bhagavan iti shabdate. It's called Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So they are same, but they're not the same. So we have this idea of Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. That is very interesting. That is also expressed in many names of Vishnu, such as Adokshaja, Achintya. We cannot really understand it intellectually, but we can understand it through the example of the sun. The Brahman is like the light of the sun. It's everywhere. From the light and energy of the sun, everything becomes manifested. Paramatma is like the sun disk that we see in the sky. It's above the head of each person. How is that possible? That it's directly on top of us. And we can see the sun not only in the sky but in any of many parts of water. How is that possible? That is the Paramatma. Paramatma is not only inside the soul of each one of us, but it's also in all the objects that are around us, in every atom even. How is that possible? It's difficult to understand, intellectually. But Bhagavan is even more difficult to understand because it's like the actual body of the sun, the star. We cannot, when the light of the sunlight, the sun rays enter our room in the morning, we say, the sun entered my room. What does that mean? That the stars, the star we know as the sun, it has entered the room. Nope. Because, if the sun became even close to the earth will burn, will be, vaporized. What to speak of your room? You understand? So Krishna, as the Param Brahman, the origin of the Brahman, is like the sun, is the foundation of the Brahman. This is very different, from the very materialistic, superficial view of the ignorant people. They think that there are so many gods. My God, your God is different. And they think that God is localized as one place only. They don't understand what is the meaning of transcendental. Brahman is transcendental, but Bhagavan is more transcendental. So everything is coming out from the root of existence. I don't know, it's difficult to explain. The Param Brahman is the origin of everything, including the Brahman. The Brahman is like the sunlight. And from the sunlight, this world is created, and, all the bodies are created, and all these, sparks of light are created. They come. We are the Brahma Jyoti. The Brahma Jyoti is coming from the Param Brahman. Brahman is coming from the Param Brahman, and the Atman is also coming from the Param Brahman. Is this clearer?
Yes.
So yeah, we are. So we are Brahman in two senses. We are Brahman as para prakriti and as apara prakriti and tatastha shakti as well. This is the great mystery of our real nature. We are God, but we are a emanation of God. So we are Brahman and we are Atman, and we are also Shakti. We are Purusha and Prakriti. Just like Brahman, just like the Param Brahman. You can never separate the Shakti from the Shaktiman. But in the Param Brahman, the non-manifested, the Shakti is only functioning as Yogamaya, transcendental. Like Krishna says, that the beginning. Krishna says, "I am the beginning, the middle, and the end." The foundation of Brahman, also Krishna says in other words, in other verses, that everything is resting on him like pearls on a string. That is the definition of Brahman, but it's coming from somewhere that is the origin of all existence. Adi Shankar, in the first verse of his commentary to Bhagavad Gita, said, Narayana Paravyaktat. Narayan is supreme and is not manifested. So the Vishnu that we are talking about, the Narayan that is not manifested, starts manifesting in the material world and is already an avatar. The three Purusha avatars in the beginning of the creation of the material world are Mahavishnu, Karnavakasha Vishnu, Garbhodakasha Vishnu, and Kshirodakasha Vishnu. These are the Vishnus we know. We cannot know the original Vishnu because he's not manifested. So we can only realize the original Vishnu when we transcend the gunas. Otherwise, we cannot know the Vishnu as long as we have any identification and attachment to the material level, because Narayana is non-manifested. Non-manifested doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, of course. Some stupid people think, oh, it's non-manifested means it doesn't exist. No. Non-manifested means you cannot see him. But he's there. Of course he's there. He's non-manifested. I don't know. Is that clear?
Yeah, slightly.
Slightly. Okay, let's consider Karunakasha Vishnu. Eko Bahusyat. The one will become many. So the first manifestation is Mahavishnu, Karunakasha Vishnu. All the causes are coming from Mahavishnu. All the universes are coming from his body, from the pores of his body. Every breathing cycle, all the universes are coming out and getting withdrawn again. But that is starting to happen at the beginning of the general manifestation of the material world. That is so back in time, we cannot even conceive that it has a beginning. But God doesn't have a beginning, because in the manifested state there is no beginning. It is always there. That is the meaning of eternity and infinite, unlimited. Eternity and transcendence means that there was never a time when God was not there. Even before that incalculable moment when material energy manifested. So the beginning of everything is when Narayana, the original non-manifested Narayana, wants to manifest, to play with his energies, with his Shaktis. So at that time, the Purusha, the Prakriti, become distinct. They don't separate, because they never really separate. But they become two. The one becomes two, so that it can dance. It's a dance of Krishna. Why the dance of Krishna is so important? Why the dance of Shiva is so important? Because for the dance, you manifest, Krishna, Shiva, manifest the dance companion. And this is when the sister of Vishnu manifests. Not Vishnu's consort. Vishnu's sister, because they come from the same womb, if we want to say that. The same womb is a non-manifested Param Mama Yoni. At that point, we have Vishnu, Narayana, and Durga, Narayani. Narayana and Narayani. They're the same, they're one and the same. They're the couple that don't unite as complementary. They are two halves of the same sky, if we want to say that. If we have an apple, there are two, you cut the apple in two, they're identical. They're not complementary, they're identical. So what happens is that at the beginning of time, then Durga manifests as Kali, the time. So Vishnu manifests as Kala and Kali. When Krishna in the Gita says, Kalosmi, I am time, I am Kala. Kali is the sister of Vishnu, is Narayani, Durga. Then, when the first creation of the manifested world starts, then so many things start to happen. So, Mahavishnu still doesn't have a Lakshmi. Okay? Because he's just the beginning. He's also called Sadashiva. Mahavishnu, Karanakasha Vishnu is also called Sadashiva. And this we can find also in the first teachings of Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya. There was no prejudice or contradiction between the idea of Vishnu and the idea of Shiva. Vishnu becomes Shiva by becoming, by being in touch with the material energy, Durga, Kali, the time. And this is what Brahma Samhita also said. Shiva is just like the yogurt compared to the milk. It's exactly the same. Just it changes the function, because Shiva, or Mahavishnu, is focused on the material creation. So Kali starts the time. And that's the first, the primary creation. Then Garbhodakashayi Vishnu appears, manifests, in each universe as the second Purusha avatar, the second avatar of Vishnu in this world. And from Garbhodakasha Vishnu, Brahma is born. And Brahma starts to manifest all the bodies and situations of each universe. So Brahma creates the bodies of the devas and everything. And then together with the devas, Lakshmi manifests as a consort of Vishnu, as the wife, we could say, but not as a sister, as a wife, as a consort. And all the devas are manifested as the members, the limbs of the body of the Virat Lord, Purusha. Brahma is born from the body of the Virat Purusha. Garbhodakasha Vishnu is the Virat Purusha. Okay, so after this, then Vishnu again takes the third Purusha avatar as Kshirodakasha Vishnu in the Prapanchika Vaikuntha in the Svetadvip. That is the North Pole star. And then he is very much present with Lakshmi. Lakshmi is fully developed, fully manifested in this at this stage. And from Kshirodakasha Vishnu's all the other avatars come. Whenever there is a problem, all the devas, with Brahma, they go to Svetadvip, they approach Vishnu on the ocean of milk, Svetadvip. And then Vishnu says, okay, I'll manifest myself, I'll come as an avatar. So there is a cycle of the Leela avatar, the most famous avatars, recurring avatars are Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Vamana, Nishinga, Vamana, Parashuram, and Ram. Then after Ram, some people say there is Krishna, some people say there is Balaram. Okay, well, you should Balaram. Then many people put Buddha, not everybody agrees, but many people put Buddha. And many people, usually they put Kalki as well, at the end of this Kali Yuga. On the end of each Kali Yuga, actually. So, that is further avatars. But they all come from the Param Brahman, the origin of the Brahman. I don't know, is that clearer?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. I was
It's
hoping.
complex, but it's still, yeah, whatever you
Huh?
explained it. Clear. It's complex,
Yeah, very,
but yeah.
very, very. In fact, it can only be experienced. You
Hmm.
cannot intellectually understand it. You need to actually see it. That is called darshana. That is why the rishis are helping us with all the scriptures, all the shastras, all the rigs, all the Puranas and the Upanishads and everything. They keep describing these things because we can actually come to the point of seeing it. But without the preliminary theoretical knowledge, how can you see it in practice? That's why it's so important to study the Shastra. Like if you want to get some honey or some gold, and you go out to look for honey or gold and whatever. If you have no idea what the honey looks and tastes like, if you have no idea what gold looks and weighs, what is the contact, what is the touch qualities of the gold. How are you going to find what you're looking for? It's impossible. So the jnana and vairagya, the jnana starts with the theoretical knowledge and then it becomes vijnana when you apply it. And at some point, when you keep applying it, keep meditating on it, you actually see it. That is called prakash. You actually perceive it beyond the limits of the material mind and the material intellect. Then, as Krishna says in Gita, when you have actually attained the realization, everything that was said, and it will be said, it will be, less relevant. It will not be so relevant because you have experienced it. Now, the point is, it is still relevant for other people who have not realized it. So we need to help other people to actually get to that place, to that point. So we need to encourage people to go through the theory, through the theoretical knowledge, and then then they will actually experience the Parama Karuna. It's like Arjuna is saying, in Gita. Krishna is giving Arjuna the best instructions to actually come to realize the Parama Karuna. Okay. Is that clear? Everything clear?
Yeah. Yes.
Fantastic. So, I think we can stop here and we go 28 next time. Oh, no, 28, not 28. We finished the chapter. So next time we have the chapter 15, Purushottama Yoga. Wow, Purushottama Yoga is very interesting. Jagannath Yoga. Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Jai
you. Thanks
Jagannath.
for your time. Jai Jagannath.